We'll have fewer options. The changes to people are going to be more dramatic.
Today on the Morning Edition, the governor says no to a widely supported education bill. Now lawmakers face a choice that could shape Alaska's classrooms for years to come. Plus, a close call at Kincaid Park. A moose with a newborn calf trampled a woman and her dog. Why wildlife officials warn this is one of the most dangerous times of the year. And later.
Just a 10 by 20 tray, right? Mm-hmm. And this takes 10 days to grow.
Planting seeds for success. Students are digging into a new kind of education, one that grows more than just produce, as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I'm continuing along on this rainy, cloudy spring.
It's like we were talking earlier. It's kind of like clouds and rain, and then all of a sudden the sun appears at like 6 in the evening.
Yeah, at least we get some peaks of sunshine, even if it is just for a few hours. But today we are going to be watching some showers spreading across South Central. More so into the evening hours. And of course, we'll also be watching some of those winds, which will increase across South Central. Beginning to see those winds building in later this afternoon. Now, those temperatures this morning up underneath those overcast skies, we're sitting quite comfortably in the low to mid 40s across South Central. We're at 47 degrees here in Anchorage with winds out of the south at 3 miles per hour. And what we're seeing for the first part of the day is just some spotty showers that are occurring through parts of the Mat-Su Valley. Largely expecting that rain for most locations to arrive into the evening hours. But like we've been dealing with, we could still hold on to some of that spotty to isolated activity for the first part of the day. Our storm system we're watching is out towards the Aleutians, still beginning to approach the central Aleutians this morning. We're going to begin to see a widespread rain as well as some winds that will spread across the Aleutians through southwest Alaska and then eventually here in South Central. This morning, we're also seeing some rain that continues out towards the interior. So this is our next weather maker. We're going to see rain showers, nothing widespread like we saw last Monday. And those winds are set to increase upwards of about 30 to 35 miles per hour. And per usual, we'll see our heaviest rain for coastal regions, while inland areas will catch some breaks within some of that rainfall. So we'll just see some of that isolated activity through at least the afternoon hours. And then by tonight, we'll begin to see that better chance for some rain spreading across South Central. And by no means will this be a significant rainfall maker. We'll see the potential for up to about 1/10 of an inch for the Anchorage Bowl, while coastal regions see upwards to about 1/2 inch, if not slightly higher amounts as you head out towards Whittier as well as Valdez. So that's where we're going to see some of that heavier activity here over the next couple of days. So be prepared for rain showers to arrive into the evening. Winds will also accompany that later this afternoon with those temperatures. It's set to warm into the low to mid 50s. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast coming up.
The bill has been vetoed. The legislature will have to make its decision on what they want to do. But in the end, again, if kids truly are the most important thing, it's got to be more than just money. It's got to have policy attached to it.
We begin with Capitol coverage. This morning could bring a major decision for Alaska schools. Lawmakers may vote to override the governor's veto of House Bill 57, which would boost per-student funding across the state.
Governor Dunleavy rejected the bill Monday night, saying it lacked enough policy changes, even though he once suggested he might sign it. This was his response when asked why Alaskans should trust any plan will ever pass.
We have to get out of this mentality of, we're not going to work together with the guy over there because they didn't like him in high school. This is about the future of the state. And I would hope that these folks that are in charge, I would hope these folks that are in leadership would be listening to this conversation. We're going to roll out I think a plan that, if it's adopted, will solve this issue so we can get out of this mess, to be honest with you. But in terms of how will they get to that point, I think their constituents are going to have to tell them they have to.
With just late days left in both the school year and the legislative session, school districts across the state are concerned the veto of House Bill 57 increases the likelihood of widespread cuts.
That's where we are. Just a massive unpredictability. And if things go worse or go bad, we don't even know where we're going to go for that.
The Anchorage School District released a statement via email saying it is deeply disappointed by the decision, and a statement by the National Education Association Alaska encouraged lawmakers to come together to override the veto. Joe Allgood spoke to some Alaska's educators for their reaction.
As bad as we thought it was going to be before, and worse. That's what Anchorage School Board member Andy Holloman told me in response to the governor's veto. Holloman said that if the veto stands, the Anchorage School District will be looking at a 20% cut to the budget compared to last year.
The middle of August, our buildings are going to be full of kids. And if the funding's not there, they're shortchanged right then and every day after until the legislature is able to either get past him or come to some kind of agreement with him.
Without a funding increase or the one-time funding the district received last year, it's possible ASD will be cutting even more than anticipated, Holloman said. And that's not specific to Anchorage. The Kenai Peninsula Borough School District is facing a $17 million deficit of their own. Kenai Superintendent Clayton Holland is also head of the Alaska Superintendents Association. He said he and other leaders in his position are, quote, guessing as to what they might receive next year.
You know, some districts feel like, oh my gosh, we already committed to this even based off of a different number. And, not sure how they would make up the difference if that number is vetoed or significantly reduced. We're at the point, too, where we'd have to look at closing more schools, have to look at more programs, and just seeing how else we can shape this in a different way.
And for the teachers in the classroom, the veto creates concerns regarding their job status.
People are going to start to be laid off. We're going to be issuing those pink slips. Those school closures are going to become irreversible. Programs that have been cut are become final, or ones that were proposed to be cut are going to be final. If this veto stands, in the absence of a special session, we can't wait until next January. The destruction will have been done.
The state legislature may vote on a veto override as early as Tuesday morning. 40 of the 60 legislators would have to vote in favor for it to go through. And even then, the governor may still be able to line item veto elements of the bill. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
The Anchorage School District is scaling back its Academies of Anchorage program for next year, citing uncertainty over state funding. Despite a $15 million federal grant to launch the program, district leaders say they cannot move forward fully without more reliable support from the state. The program was meant to give sophomores a range of career path options, but those class choices will now be far more limited.
Every school will have two pathways that will continue to kind of be in line with career and technical education, those CTE pathways. And we're not making any students commit to a pathway next year, but many have decided, like, this is what I'm interested in, and they've started to look at those elective opportunities.
The district will hold freshman academies next year, although the course will be renamed and new curriculum will be added. We have more details, and you can read the complete statement from ASD on our website.
UAA leaders with the Alaska Native Science and Engineering Program, or ANSEP, say federal budget cuts and increased scrutiny of diversity programs are to blame for the sudden end to their free summer STEM education program.
And it's very frustrating.
ANSEP's chief operating officer says losing $2.5 million in funding from the National Science Foundation forced the cancellation of this year's summer academy. She says the cut came after UAA's Board of Regents asked ANSEP to review its program in response to a federal executive order targeting what the administration called discriminatory programs and to remove affirmative action language. ANSEP leaders stress the program has always been open to all Alaska students, not just Alaska Native participants.
It's law that all of our programs are open to all students. A student chooses to join a program based on, feeling welcome or feeling like they belong, and so that might be why a lot more Alaska Native students participate, but we've never targeted Alaska Native students in terms of when we pick a student for a program.
She says while certain website language has been changed, including some references to Alaska Native people, that does not impact the programs or the mission to service Alaska Native communities. The University of Alaska Board of Regents heard public testimony this week ahead of meetings taking place in Fairbanks.
Much of the feedback centered on a controversial motion passed in February, which removed references to diversity, equity, and inclusion across the UA system. Graduate students and faculty shared personal stories and concerns, saying the change threatens campus support systems and could affect their ability to teach and learn.
This not only impacts me as well as my ability to support undergraduate and graduate students. So more specifically, I have a pending grant from the NIH, or the National Institute of Mental Health, and the NIMH, and specifically focused on culturally adapting a gold standard treatment for suicidal and traumatized Alaskan Native teens and families last July, and it was scored very well and was supposed to be funded in January. However, this was obviously canceled due to the administration's executive order. Now I'm trying to revise my entire 200-page grant to remove any, quote, DEI language, including removing basic, well-documented health disparities. This is a 5-year career development award.
Members from the Board of Regents, however, say that their motion does not tell faculty or others to do things differently. The Board of Regents meetings begins tomorrow on the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. Anchorage police plan to release new details tomorrow in last week's deadly officer-involved shooting in Mountain View. This week, the department identified the officer who they say fired the shot as Carter Mays, a 5-year veteran of the force. Police say Mays fatally shot 41-year-old Utuva Alelua during a traffic stop for a broken headlight on May 12th. The chief says officers spotted a gun on Alelua's lap and issued commands before firing. Officer Mays was also involved in a 2022 shooting.
A woman and her dog were trampled by a moose at Kincaid Park Friday evening. Anchorage police say both had non-life-threatening injuries, though their current conditions are unknown. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game confirmed a moose had a newborn calf and the dog was off leash at the time. Wildlife officials remind Alaskans that moose mothers are highly aggressive during calving season and can charge to protect their young.
Biggest thing is to keep those pets under control. A moose really can't tell the difference between a dog and a wolf. Wolf is a natural predator that's innate to them. So the best thing is to keep those animals, especially dogs, close by, leashed, so that you can minimize a negative encounter if you happen upon any wildlife in general.
Fish and Game advises that if a moose charges, you should run, find something solid to hide behind, and cover your head and neck to best protect yourself.
Up next on the Morning Edition, when school cafeterias close for summer, hunger opens the door for too many kids. How one Anchorage nonprofit is stepping in to serve meals and fill the gap starting next week.
And later, he came to Alaska with a dream and left his competition in the dust. The UAA sprinter who's breaking records and making history, showing why he's our athlete of the week, one race at a time.
We'll see rain showers spreading across South Central into the evening hours with some gusty conditions. I'll have more on that rain as well as that 7-day forecast. First, sunrise, 4:59 in Anchorage, 5:50 in Bethel. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back, everyone. This Friday, you can now buy tickets to see country star Dwight Yoakam at the Alaska State Fair. He will be playing on Sunday, August 31st. The musician is considered one of the pioneers of California country. Yoakam's worked with everyone from Buck Owens to Post Malone.
Tickets are available on the Alaska State Fair website Friday starting at 10 a.m. Other artists coming include Weird Al Yankovic, Chris Tomlin, and Foreigner, among many others. Pretty good lineup this year.
They're always adding people in. You just never know. Aaron, good morning.
Yeah, good morning on this. It is Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes.
It is Tuesday. Wow, that Monday brain here. Waking up, we are seeing those temperatures sitting in the 40s, 47 currently in Anchorage. We're seeing some spotty to isolated showers that continue to build across parts of South Central. Later this afternoon into the evening, we will see a better return to some rain. Out towards southeast, only expecting to see some spotty activity, and we've got heavier rain that's impacting areas of the Aleutians. We're also seeing a winter storm warning for parts of the central Brooks Range that continues until 4 p.m. this afternoon, where we could see the potential for up to 12 inches of snow accumulation for parts of the Dalton Highway through Atagoon Pass. So be prepared for that. We're also holding on to some of that lingering activity through the interior. And like we've been seeing each and every day, those showers will kind of taper off this morning, and then they will fire this afternoon and then carry us through tomorrow morning. We'll see that each and every day through parts of the interior. But there's our storm system. We're watching out towards the Aleutians. This is already leading to some increasing winds, anywhere from about 25 to 45 miles per hour through the Aleutians, while Gamble, St. Lawrence, out towards Point Hope, seeing those winds up to 25 miles per hour. And then through the day, we'll see these winds spreading eastward into southwest Alaska, Kodiak, and then eventually here in south central. So by this afternoon, we'll see those winds across the region gusting upwards of about 30 miles per hour. So be watching for that throughout the day. Of course, some of the strongest winds will impact areas of southwest Alaska, as well as through the Alaska Peninsula, where we could see winds in excess of 30 miles per hour. So it will be a breezy couple of days across the southern coastline as we continue to hold on to this active weather. Here across the Anchorage Bowl, we'll see those winds gusting upwards of about 30 miles per hour, but we'll see some of those stronger wind gusts arriving towards the afternoon into the evening hours. And those will likely stay with us into our Wednesday as well. So there's that widespread activity out towards the Aleutians. It's going to march eastward through the remainder of today, spreading across the eastern Aleutians, the Alaska Peninsula. And then by this evening, we'll see that rain really beginning to spread into parts of south central, with the heaviest activity staying confined to coastal regions. This by no means will be like that widespread rain we saw last Monday. It'll just be a scattered to periodic rain showers that we'll see later today on into our Wednesday. And that's going to continue to keep this active and wet weather with us, which will also keep temperatures slightly cooler. So coastal areas will see the best chance for rain, while inland locations, we'll call it about scattered activity through at least the next 24 hours. Out towards southeast, just holding on to some spotty showers today. Those temperatures expected to warm into the mid-50s throughout the afternoon hours. We'll see a better return to some rain for you by week's end. 52 in Homer as well as Soldotna. You can see those winds increasing out of the southwest up to about 25 miles per hour. Expecting to see not as strong of winds through Prince William Sound, but we will see some of the heaviest activity into the evening hours. 58 in Golcana into the valley. We'll see a chance for some showers with some breezy conditions, which could gust up to about 30 miles per hour in Palmer. And we'll also see those winds upwards of about 30 miles per hour here in Anchorage. So expect to see those winds increasing this afternoon with those peak winds occurring later this evening. And that chance for some showers carries us through Wednesday. And then we'll see a mix of some sun and clouds as we close out the week. But we could still see some spotty to isolated activity. Check out Saturday. We could potentially hit our first official 60-degree day of the season.
Nice. All right. Thanks, Aaron. Looks good. Well, as summer break begins this week, Beans Cafe is working to make sure that kids in Anchorage do not go hungry.
Starting next week, the nonprofit will hand out free meals at the Mountain View Community Center from 4 to 5 p.m. with a goal of reaching 100 children a day. Last year, Beans Cafe reported that 14% of Anchorage youth were food insecure. The school district also saw an increase this year in students needing free or reduced lunches, adding 152 more to the program. The need only grows when school meals aren't available.
I think that they are feeling insecure, that they don't know where their next meal is coming from, whereas each day when they go to school, they know where their meal is coming from a little better. And I think you're exactly right that during the summer, they might be having a little more stress about where their next meal will come from.
Several ASD schools will offer meal services through June 26th under the Summer Food Service Program that is federally funded. You can find a list of schools live right now on our website.
And May is the month of our annual May No Child Go Hungry campaign, a partnership between our Fairbanks stations, KTVF, KXDF, and KFXF, to support the Fairbanks Food Bank. 40% of those helped by the food bank are children, making this effort more important than ever. You can learn more by scanning the QR code on your screen or visit our website. The campaign runs through the end of the month.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically, and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.